So question number 91, let's see this. Religious minorities in India have been given special protection under the constitution by the dash. So when we talk about the religious minorities, clearly it means the Muslims, the Christians, the Sikh, Jains, Zoroastrians and various other. Okay, so some six religious minorities are recognized in India. Okay, and these religious minorities, they are protected by the constitution by which factor? So they are protected by the fundamental rights. Okay, so I would cite the fundamental right article 25, say 28. Okay, from article 25 to 28, which is nothing but the right to freedom of religion. Okay, right, and then the article 2930, the cultural and educational rights. Okay, which is the cultural and educational right, article 2930. Okay, so in these all, actually the religious minorities are protected in India. So with what feature protects? The fundamental rights protects them. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Which of the following is not a function of the prime minister? Okay, so from these, which of the following is not a function of the prime minister? First one, to preside over the cabinet meeting, that is correct. To appoint the ministers, no, the ministers are appointed by the president on the advice of the prime minister. Okay, prime minister will never appoint, please remember this one. The president will do the appointment. Then to act as a link between the president and the council of minister, yes, that is correct. To act as a leader of the Lok Sabha, even that is correct. Okay, now let's move to the next question. These are the economic questions now. So this entire sector is the economic question now. So let's handle them one by one. First question, the banks charge a higher rate of loan than what they offer on dash. Okay, so basically this is talking about the credit and deposit and all these things. So banks will charge a higher interest rate on the loan than what they offer on the deposit. So how does the bank basically operate? Banks are the mediators between the creditor. Okay, so banks are basically the mediator. Okay, so they are a mediator between the depositor and the borrower. So a person who has excess of money will deposit the money in the bank. Bank will give a certain amount of interest to the depositor. Okay, then the borrower will lend money from the bank, okay, as a loan, and the borrower will repay with a certain percentage of interest. Now generally this percentage of interest is very greater than this percentage of interest. For example, if the bank pays some 3.5 percentage of interest to the depositor, 3 or 3.5%, then the borrower will be paying the bank some 10 to 13% of interest on the loan he has taken. Okay, so this entire difference, right, the 13% of interest that the bank is earning and only 3% that it is giving to the depositor, this extra amount of money, this is nothing but the profit of the bank. Okay, this is nothing but the profit of the bank. Okay, which is which it again sets up in different enterprises. Okay, so the question is that the banks charge a higher rate of interest on the loan, this part, than what they offer on deposits. Okay, I hope the answer is very clear now. Now let's move to the next question. Japan invested most parts of its resources in the development of dash. The financial resource, the human resource, the physical resource, and the national resource. So Japan invested, so we know Japan. Okay, if we talk about some very advanced countries, we remember Japan. Similarly, in India also, if we talk about Kerala, it is very much developed. Why? Because initially they invested on the human resources. What does human resource means? To educate the people, to train the people, to invest in their health, medicine. That is called as to invest in the human resource, because health is wealth. So a person will be healthy, he will be able to work more. If a person is educated, he will be more skilled, he will be getting better job, and he will be a asset of the nation. Okay, similarly training. So Japan also invested most of its resources in the development of human resource. That is why it is so technologically developed. Okay, and if we talk about any such state of India, that is Kerala, right? So let's move on to the next question now. Similarly, if I talk about the other states, how have the other states developed? So West Bengal has developed because of its land reforms. Okay, so the land reforms were very soon taken in West Bengal. That is why West Bengal developed. If we talk about Tamil Nadu, Tamil Nadu developed because the PDS system, yani ki public distribution system, was very much accepted. Okay, very much prevailed in Tamil Nadu, because of which these states are at a better position if we compare to all the states of India. Okay, for that matter, right? So these all things are pure NCERT basics, and maybe they can be asked to you. So at one place I just gave you the answer, right? So now see, where is the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission located? So see, your Consumer Protection Act and Consumer Rights is an omitted chapter. right? So still you can just see some of the topics. I'll just solve this question. Where is the National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission located? So it is located in New Delhi. This is very easy question. Next is, we need knowledge and enterprise to be able to put together land, labor, physical capital and produce an output. This is called as dash. So land, labor, physical capital will produce an output. Okay. So, and we need the knowledge and enterprise to make use of these physical capital. So what is this knowledge and enterprise actually called as? This is called as the human capital. Okay, understanding. So basically there are two kinds of capital. One is the physical capital, another one is the human capital. Okay, physical capital are basically of two types, the fixed capital and the working capital. Okay, fixed capital is that capital which will not get exhausted. Okay, which will not get exhausted. What do I mean by exhausted? Suppose you are producing the wheat. Okay, suppose you are producing the wheat, so whatever input is not exhausted, okay, it is not getting finished with the production, that will be called as the fixed capital. Okay, and whatever things are getting exhausted with production, that will be called as the working capital. Now for example, suppose we are producing the wheat, so we have the tractor, we may have some tools. Okay, so do they also wear out with the production? No, they do not wear out, right? They are still there, so they are the fixed capital. Getting my point? But let us say we are giving fertilizer. Okay, we are using fertilizer, we have also given some money. Okay, we have also given some money, so I hired 3 people to work on my farm, so I am giving them wage. Okay, so all these things, they are changing with the production. Okay, fertilizer, they are ending up with the production, they are exhausted with the production, so they will be the part of the working capital. Okay, they are not the fixed capital, right? So this is about the physical capital. Now let me tell you about the human capital. Now what is the human capital? The human resource. So what is human resource? Skill is a human resource, intelligence is a human resource, knowledge is a human resource, enterprise is a human resource, right? So the question was, we need knowledge and enterprise to be able to put together land, labor, physical capital and produce an output. This is called as dash. So the correct answer will be human capital. Okay, the correct answer will be human capital. Now let's move on to the next question. To grow multiple crops on the same land is called as multiple cropping. Yes. Okay, so if we are growing multiple crops on the same land, it is called as the multiple cropping. That is correct. Now for the multiple cropping to occur, what things do we require? Okay, what things do we basically require? So the options are application of HYV seed. HYV seed means high yielding variety seed. So this was basically for the green revolution and to increase the size of production. Okay, to increase the size of production, the HYV seeds were very required. Now application of chemical fertilizer does not necessarily mean it ensures the multiple cropping. Availability of well developed irrigation system, yes, this is the thing that is required for multiple cropping. Why? See, on a certain farm, when you are growing multiple cropping, okay, one kind of crop, then there is another B kind of crop, then there is another C kind of crop. Okay, so different kinds of crops are there. Okay, so these all things are called as the multiple cropping. Okay, so we need a well developed irrigation system for enabling the multiple cropping. Okay, so out of these four, this is the most appropriate answer, right? Similarly, increasing the area of production does not necessarily mean, maybe we may have a fallow land, we may not have a very good quality of land, so even if we increase the area, what does that even mean? Okay, so option C will be the most suitable answer. Now let's go to the next question. Which among the following is a non-renewable resource? The groundwater, the forest, the air and the minerals. So minerals is basically a non-renewable resource. Okay, once the minerals are used up, they are exhausted, they won't be coming back to us, right? So now let us move to the next question. The investment made by the MNC is called as a dash. Okay, so what is the MNC? What is the MNC? Basically, MNC stands for a multinational company. Okay, multinational company means what? A company which has the operating offices in a lot of countries. Okay, so for example, we have a country called as we have a company called as Cognizant. Okay, Cognizant. Now it has its branches in USA, it has its branches in India, it has its branches in various other countries. So this is an example of an MNC. Okay, similarly Amazon. Okay, so these all are some MNCs, right? So MNC, investment made by a MNC is called as a dash. Internal investment, foreign trade, foreign investment, none of these. So the correct answer is foreign investment. The last question of the day and also of the paper NTSC 2018 is, what does disguised unemployment mean? Okay, so the options are, workers are unemployed in some seasons, The workers' capacity is underutilized. Some workers' marginal productivity is zero. Workers are willing to work but not getting the jobs. Okay. So basically, see here, more than one answer is actually correct. Okay, disguised unemployment. First, let me explain you what is this disguised unemployment. So it comes from the word disguise, and disguise means hidden. Okay, disguise means hidden, right? So disguised unemployment means that kind of unemployment which is not coming, which is not upwelling. Okay, which is not showing its picture, right? But it is still there. Okay, so for example, there is a task which can be done by one farmer, but along with him 5 more people, okay, from his family are working in the same farm. So even if we remove, so total how many people? There are 6 people, right? So even if we remove 5 people from here, the productivity will still be the same, right? Not right or not? Okay, so extra 5 people, even if we are adding, what is their productivity? That is called as the marginal productivity. Getting my point? Suppose, again I'm explaining it, suppose there is a unit of production which requires a work to be done by one person, okay, and he is producing x units. We introduced 2 more people into the enterprise, and still then we saw that x units are being produced. So what is the productivity of these two? Okay, what is the extra amount of productivity that we got by adding these 2 people? That is called as the marginal productivity. Okay, that is called as the marginal productivity. So if still the amount of units produced is a x unit, that means what? The marginal productivity of these 2 laborers is actually 0, right or not? So some workers marginal productivity is 0. That is correct. Okay, it is not wrong, it is correct. The workers capacity is underutilized. This is also correct. Okay, getting my point? So where one person should work, 5 people or 6 people are working, that means what? The capacity is underutilized. So B will be the correct answer also, C will be the correct answer also, right? Workers are unemployed for some season, so this is called as the seasonal unemployment, right? And the fourth one, workers are willing to work but not getting jobs. So this is basically unemployment. Okay, this is basically clear unemployment, visible unemployment. So this is not disguised. So B and C both can be the answer. However, your answer key had given the B as the correct answer. Okay, workers capacity is underutilized, right? So with this we come to the end of this discussion for NTSC 2018 paper, right? So I hope you like the session, and I hope this particular discussion would help you a lot in your preparation. I wish you all the best for your upcoming NTSC examination. If you want any other help from my side, do let me know in the comment section. And thank you everybody for watching. Do subscribe to the channel and please share this video with your friends so that they also get the knowledge. All the best, guys.